Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, January 26, 2014. This is episode 1052. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by ShareFile. Enhance your workflow, send files of almost any size easily and securely with ShareFile from Citrix. Try ShareFile today for a 30-day free trial. Go to sharefile.com, click the microphone, and enter Tech Guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers and the internet and Windows and Mac and smartphones, video game consoles, home theater, digital photography, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the US of A or Canada. We do get people, thanks to the internet, people are listening all over the world. If you're all over the world, somewhere else in the world, of course you can call that number using Skype, and it won't cost you anything because it's a toll-free number in the U.S. 8888 Ask Leo. Let's see here. What shall we talk about today? What's the latest? Last night, the party for the Mac 30th. This is January 22nd is the 30th anniversary of the announcement of the Macintosh via that, remember that Super Bowl ad? Why 1984 won't be like 1984. And the Macintosh lady comes hurling her giant hammer and smashes the IBM guy, and all the drones are, and that was it. That we didn't know exactly what it was, but we knew something was coming from Apple. And then 2 days later, Steve Jobs, January 24th, 1984, announces Macintosh at the Flint Center, and Macintosh announces itself, says hello for itself, which is kind of cool. It's, in hindsight, when you see this, it doesn't seem so wild. So you wonder, why is the crowd just going crazy? Well, they'd never seen anything like it. They'd never seen anything like it. And then a few days later, like a week later, Steve Jobs did the same announcement at the Boston Computer Society, and the video for that, which has never before been seen in its entirety, at least not by anybody in public, it was just published by Time Magazine. It's kind of fun to see. Apparently, the Boston Computer Society recorded all of its public demonstrations, and this one with Steve Jobs was in somebody's vault on old U-matic tapes, and they converted it. Same great presentation. In fact, really, Harry McCracken, writing about this, says that the first announcement which was for the Apple shareholders meeting, was just a rehearsal for the January 30th announcement. So this is the week. We're celebrating 30 years of Macintosh. Kind of amazing. 10 years ago, when they wanted to celebrate 20 years of Macintosh, somebody said, "Steve, why aren't we doing anything?" Steve said, "Because I don't look backwards." I don't want to look backwards. So nothing was done 20 years ago or 25 years ago. But I think Tim Cook recognizes that this was something pretty important, not just for Apple Computer, but I think in many ways a revolution in computing. It was graphical computing. It was windowed operating systems. Not that that was the first time we'd seen a mouse or windowing operating systems or any of that, but it was the first time we'd seen it at an affordable price. And I remember in March of 1984, going into Macy's, because I had a Macy's credit card, and plunking the card down and buying a $2,500 original Mac. It was a crazy purchase. It had a single 400K floppy, didn't have a hard drive. And only one floppy meant if you wanted to copy any files, it was an insane amount of swapping. But it was still a remarkable thing. I had IBM PCs, and I'd had CPM computers before that. I'd been writing about computers since the late 70s. But to see this, I remember seeing the Lisa a few years earlier, and it was $10,000, and saying, boy, I'd love that, but I'm never going to buy that. But when he came out for it, now $2,500 was not a small amount of money. It's not a small amount of money today, of course, but it was, according to Truckee in the chat room who's done the math, that was about $5,600 in today's dollars. So it was expensive. Took me a long time to pay off that first Mac. And it didn't do much, but it was a revolution. It really was a revolution. There was only 128 kilobytes of RAM. We talk today about 8 and 16 and more gigabytes of RAM. This was kilobytes, 128 kilobytes of RAM. The screen was black and white. It was essentially a VGA screen. Was it 1024 by 768? I can't remember. Something like that. No, was it more than that, John? Smaller than that, 900 by 800 or something. Pretty amazing. And nevertheless, those of us who saw it for the first time, we just were blown away. 30 years ago, paint and draw. It was less than 640 by 40. It was, I remember it was a megabyte of memory for the screen. That was why it was a big deal. And it was a what they call a bitmapped screen, which meant it wasn't just blasting text on the screen like computers before it had done, green text on a black screen, but it was in fact graphical. Wow. I would love to see a calculation, I'm sure somebody's done it, of the power in the first Macintosh, the first 68,000 based 128K RAM Macintosh, compared to, say, the cheapest iPhone you could buy today. It's got to be thousands of times faster. Pretty impressive. Things have changed a lot, and that's what we talk about on the show. And, you know, it's funny because I was writing for computer magazines in 1984. In fact, I wrote a review of an early Mac program for the first Byte magazine to cover Macintosh back in 1984. But I wasn't doing it on the radio. I was a DJ, a lowly DJ, playing the hits, spinning the discs. And the computer stuff was a sideline until about almost 10 years later. I have to say I still prefer a Macintosh, although lately it's been a little frustrating. You come to expect a certain standard of excellence from Apple, and it's just a little disappointing, the new Mavericks operating system. We've talked about this. A little crashy, a little buggy. I bought a Mac Pro, only $3,000. So really, you know, I mean, thinking about the amount of power going from my first Mac to my most recent Mac, that's beautiful, black, shiny cylinder Mac Pro. But all of a sudden, I can't use Bluetooth with it. It's like failed, and the sound goes out periodically. And I'm hoping that it's just Mavericks, the new OS X, which is known to be buggy. Macworld UK has done a head-to-head comparison. Thank you, Casey Bailey. Casey E. Bailey. A head-to-head comparison for the original Mac to an iPhone 5S. Well, I mean, it's really night and day. I don't even know if you can say it's 10,000 times faster. It doesn't even. It's not even. You can't even measure it like that. The iPhone 5S has an A7 chip, which is running 2 processors at 1.3 gigahertz compared to the single 8 megahertz processor of the Motorola 68000. Not to mention the graphics processor chip that the iPhone has, the Mac did not. The logic board's a lot smaller on an iPhone, but contains a lot more. It contains more RAM, contains more storage. There's no floppy. The screen on the original Mac was, get this, 9 inches, 512 by 384. So you're right, John, not even close. The 4-inch Retina display on the iPhone 5S is 1136 by 640. And on and on and on. But that's not the point. The Mac changed the world, and I think there's no disagreeing. And at first, when you... Oh, suddenly it's appeared behind me, an original 128K Mac, I think. That's not the one I bought at Macy's. I bought in March. It's the one you bought in March? Is that yours, John? Yes. You kept yours. I handed mine down to my nephew, who's, I'm sure, long ago handed it down to his nephew 30 years later. 8888 Ask Leo. Mac memories. We could talk about modern times too. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's what's sad is they've yellowed. We got to get that stuff that unyellows it, turns it beigeur.
Macintosh.
That's neat. That's the original
Macintosh.
And inside the signatures of the Mac team on the bottom. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did have it updated with a SCSI port.
Oh, I see. You have a SCSI port. That makes it.
The battery used to be.
Right.
And the RAM, it actually has 2.
Oh, you spent some money on that.
Oh yeah, I did. And, used it quite.
You didn't get an SE? No. What did you use it for?
Well, I was in college.
Oh, you're a college kid. Yeah.
I used it for. I turned in the most incredible physics lab reports.
It looked beautiful on your image writer, right? Did you get an image writer? Yeah, yeah. Here's some pics from last night. Did anybody go to last night? Anybody in the chat room go see the Mac 30th? I should have driven down there. I just, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Cult of Mac live blogging it. There's the original team. Oh, there they are. Wow. That would have been something to see. Oh, look. He brought his vintage Mac from Michigan, and he's getting it signed. That's awesome. Actually, he only brought the case. Daniel Kotke. There's Mark Cantor. Oh, yeah, that's Mark Cantor, right? Yeah. David Mannell, the Macworld magazine creator. Oh, I remember that ad. She shoots the computer. This is what the this is Stephen Hayden of Chiat Day, the guys who did the 1984 commercial, on what the board members looked like when they first saw the 1984 commercial. Hi, welcome. There's the team getting the picture taken. See, there are a lot of empty seats there. It was the ticket price was too high, I think. Let me see if I have that Byte magazine. This is from February 1984. There's Burl and Bill. Apple's Mac and Bill Atkinson, Burl Smith. Pipe is kind of an odd.
I remember wanting one of those computers so bad.
Oh, how old you couldn't you must have been 4, 2, 3.
4, 5. Yeah, I was born in 79.
So you barely.
But when they got older, I didn't get a computer until after I was out of high school.
Right.
So.
Right.
Those are what we used in computer class in middle school.
In middle school, yeah. You didn't have Apple IIs, huh?
Well, we might have. I don't remember. But
I still see schools. My kid's kindergarten had Apple IIs.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Well, if you buy them, you're not going to get rid of them. If I mean, it's not exactly state of the art, but.
Point of information.
Apple announces the Lisa 2.
The 1984 commercial. I know that this is true because I remember it.
Yeah.
I saw it right at midnight on 1984.
They showed it once, yeah.
Well, they showed it in a bunch of markets.
Right.
So
they'd be eligible for the Clio. So you were lucky to see it. Here's the ad.
Macintosh, and you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
That was something, wasn't it? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I just found a February 1984 Byte magazine with the Macintosh on the cover. And one of the articles in here, kind of ironically, Apple announces the Lisa 2. Yeah, I don't think that did too well. There they are, the drones. Being, the people thought that 1984 commercial was about IBM. I think it probably was. IBM PC came out a few years earlier, 1981, and in fact, right after the Apple Macintosh came out, IBM announced the PC Junior, their home computer, which was a terrible flop. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool to see the history of this. I don't know where I got this Byte magazine. Maybe it's been hanging around ever since. 8888 Ask Leo. Filling in for Heather Hammond today. We've got Kim Schaefer, our phone ranger pro tem. Hello, Kim.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. Have you
Awesome.
picked somebody from this list of fine people that I should start with?
Well, all the way from Portugal, Raphael is calling, and we're on the Apple subject anyway, so
let's go with it.
Go with the new MacBook Pro Air on GarageBand.
Thank you, Kim. Hello, Portugal. Hi, Raphael.
Hello, Leo.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you again.
Nice to see you. Did we talk on New Year's Eve?
Yes, I saw right after right after midnight. I saw the live stream, and it just Lisbon, London, and
and Portugal.
First, I want to say that the tip you gave me last time worked. I'm very happy. The battery is calibrated. It works perfectly.
Good.
And now this is my problem. I've been saving up some money since what? May from 2013, and then at the beginning of this year, I got a second-hand MacBook. So I installed Mavericks, I installed GarageBand, and everything else. And so on.
How old was the MacBook? What era?
It's a 2010 polycarbonate white MacBook.
Okay, got it.
So I installed GarageBand, and I was editing some music for a band that me and my colleagues did to support a cause on the local park. And GarageBand always pops up an error message, and I can't do anything on it. Oops. It's here. It says, disk is too slow or system overload. And then it says, -10009. And I searched the internet, and I can't find an answer for it. So
yeah, the infamous 1009 error. It means that how much RAM is on your MacBook?
6 gigabytes.
6?
Yes.
Because that's typically the out-of-memory error. What I think it's really telling you is that that Mac is a little slow for it. Do you do it? Do you get that when you open a new project or when you open an existing project?
While I'm playing a project.
Yeah. So a new project you don't, but as you add tracks, it requires more memory, more memory, more memory, and of course more processor speed, more disk speed. You'd think a 2010 MacBook, it's only 3 years old, would be sufficient, but you're using the new GarageBand. You know, you can still download the old GarageBand, and that might work better for you. So I think that's part of the issue, is the new GarageBand is rewritten for the faster processors. But I notice when I go to my app store, I can see the old GarageBand 6 still there. So Apple's still offering it for download if you ever downloaded it. So I would check to see if you can download it. What it's telling you, and I can't override it, is you don't have enough something. Probably memory, but possibly, it says drive speed, right? You also, if you have any plugins, you might want to turn them off. They can eat up memory. The more tracks you have, the more memory. So it may simply be that, it's too complex of a song for that older machine. It is possible they'll update this. Remember, they rushed to release new versions of GarageBand, of iMovie, of Pages and Keynote and Numbers. They rewrote all of them and rushed them out for Mavericks. And I have a feeling that there are many updates still to come. They've been adding features. Just added the other day, they added features. So I'm hoping that will be a fix for you. I don't have anything else to say, Raphael. That's 6 seems like it should be enough. But maybe if you have many tracks, that kind of thing. All I could say is either a simpler song or hope for an update or use the older version. Trent in Central Florida. Nice to have you listening in Portugal, by the way. Hi, Trent. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I work for a school here in Central Florida, IT. We're the IT department, and we run Exchange Server 2003, and are thinking about moving over to Google Apps for our staff. And we're just curious to think what your opinion on something like that would be.
I'm on the board of a local high school here that was running Exchange for many years. Their first IT person was a Windows fanatic, and she installed all Windows, all Microsoft. But you pay a hefty fee for that license, even as a school.
Yeah.
It's not free. And so we converted over, I think, a year ago to Gmail and Google Apps. Now, you lose some functionality, of course. And of course, inevitably, it's going to be the one thing that one teacher really wants. I don't know what it would be. But it's free or inexpensive if you get the, the paid apps. I think it's free for education. Google really is pushing to get education to use Google Apps. In fact, I just saw the stat that 20% of computers bought for K through 12 in the U.S., 20% are Chromebooks. And that's from 0 a year ago. So this is...
Good, I'm sorry.
Well, I just think this is an up-and-coming thing. I think it is time to make the move. I supported the school in making the move. I don't hear any complaints. I think Gmail is a better mail system for most people.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question here. Like I said, we've been running into issues. We have a virtual server, and we have 2003 on it, and we've been running into issues with it not taking Windows updates.
Yeah, time to move to the cloud. All of this is stored in the cloud. You don't have to run your own server anymore. You know, I mean, the amount of the license fee, but also the manpower you spend and the time you spend maintaining that Exchange server. I'm impressed that you're able to run it. Exchange is not easy. That's Microsoft. For those wondering, that's Microsoft's email server, calendar server.
Well, does the Google App Sync work well and for Outlook? I mean, I know our teachers and staff are going to still want to use Outlook.
You're going to want to, well, and unfortunately, you're going to want to move them away from Outlook. There are real reasons to move away from Outlook, especially for sharing calendars. So a teacher can have a class calendar that they can share with all the students. I just really feel like this is a good move for you, and you should do it. And there will be pain.
Yeah.
There will be pain.
Well, so is it just webmail you suggest? Just running through the webmail interface for that?
You can use Outlook for the email, but the calendar sync and the address book sync is a little more tricky with Outlook. Google does not support that. But I just, in general, I think this is a good move. I want to talk a little bit about Google's strategy here. I think it's clever. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So it's free for education. It just seems like a smart way to go. My son's college, Colorado University at Boulder, uses it. That's the Gmail is their email. Yale, my old alma mater, has gone to Gmail. Everybody's gone to Gmail. And then what's fascinating is the sale of Chromebooks. Let's see if I can find this. I think I had it here. Has just taken off. 20% of U.S. K through 12 sales, and it makes sense, frankly. So iPad is 43%. I don't think that makes sense, but anyway, Mac is 4%. I think you need a keyboard if you're in school. 28% Windows, 20% Chromebook, and that's from 0. That's from 0. In 2012, less than 1% of the market. So to go from less than 1% to 20% in 1 year, it just makes sense. And then you get the free back end, all the stuff in the cloud. Your IT support costs go to 0 or close to it. No, nothing else has ever had a rise like 20%. Go from 0 to 20 in 1 year? No, crazy. And if you think about it, I was talking about this with Lisa yesterday. If you think about it, Google is going to be very aggressive about getting in the education market. And it's They say here it's cause for fear for Microsoft. It's not merely about PC sales. The cause for fear is that these kids growing up are going to be completely comfortable with Google Apps. So they're going to use Google Apps in their entire educational life. They're going to get out, and then, this is a long-term, this is a 20, 30-year strategy from Google. But when they start running companies, are they going to be using Office? No. It is really, a Trojan horse into the business. You cannot install Windows on a Chromebook, no. Our show today brought to you, I should mention, by sharefile.com, as long as we're taking a little break here. They bring you the podcast version of the Tech Guy Show. ShareFile is also the company that brings all the ads, and you just heard one on the feed. Those ads get to the radio network and the radio stations via ShareFile. I used to use another common consumer service to share files, but I just found ShareFile so much more effective, so much easier. Nowadays, there's rarely a business email that goes by without an attachment, a PowerPoint presentation, an Excel spreadsheet, images, documents, contracts. But as you know, if you've listened to me for any length of time, I don't think that email attachments are a very good idea. They're less than secure. There's no guarantee they're going to go through. And in many cases, especially now with the large files we send all the time, they bounce back. What's better is to use ShareFile. You'll upload your files. Actually, they have an automatic synchronization program. That's what I use. So I just have a ShareFile folder, put stuff in there. It automatically gets to the ShareFile server, and then I can share those files with an email. I could do it in the website. If you use Outlook, there's an Outlook plugin that makes that easy to do. It looks just like an attachment, but it's not. Or you get a special link. When they click on that link, they don't have to sign up for ShareFile or anything. It's just a simple download link. It makes it very easy. Believe me, it was challenging to figure out. A lot of the radio station people I'm sending files to are not geeks. They're production directors and continuity people all over the country, and I can't assume that they're going to know how to download a file or open an attachment. So this works really, really well. Clients, radio stations, the network, they all get files from me via ShareFile. I want you to try it free for 30 days. Sharefile.com. Go to the top of the page at sharefile.com, click on the green microphone there, and use our offer code TechGuy. That way I'll get credit. And you'll get a great 30 days of a service you need. Sharefile.com. Access your files anywhere, too. That's nice. In the ShareFile store, they're all in the cloud and available. Free trial, no credit card, just your name, sharefile.com, and my name, Tech Guy. They call them atomic clocks. They're really radio clocks. They set the time via WWZ. WWS? WW, what is it? WW, it's not Z? WW, what is it? WW, I know it's WW, the thing in Colorado. V, that's it. Thank you. WWV. Yeah. The chat room knew, of course. WWV. The one that goes dong, dong. Dong, 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 bleep. The time is 11:01. Why?
Well, I would tie my photographs to it.
Oh.
I'd click the shutter right at a certain minute.
This Sony has for it's $10 you have to buy it. They have apps in the camera, and they have a time lapse app that you buy, install. It's really cool.
How expensive?
$10. The Flickr app's free. So I tried a test upload to Flickr and Facebook directly from the camera because the camera has Wi-Fi. So you log into your Wi-Fi network, and the cameras now can upload pictures.
So I guess
it's wild.
The Canon, I need. They don't have shutter release cables, right? You need a remote control.
No, I have a shutter release cable for that Canon. Yeah.
Oh, there's a place. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, it's on the button, or no, maybe it's it's on the side. You have to have a special kind. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Now, of course, as we're talking about Google Apps and Google Mail and Chromebooks in the school, the stat is fascinating. Last year, in 2012, Chromebooks in schools represented less than 1% of all computers in schools. The Wall Street Journal reports that it is this year 20%. This comes from Future Source Consulting. The third quarter share, this is the third quarter of 2013. Third quarter share of the U.S. K through 12 market for laptops and tablets, 43% iPad. I have some qualms about iPad as the primary computer in a K through 12. But that doesn't mean that that's the it might be that schools are using it for educational purposes. They have a little iPad cart they roll around. 4% Mac, 28% Windows, real computers, so-called. 20% Chromebook. Up from 1% the year before, or less than 1% the year before. It's brilliant. Google is planning for the future, and it's a long-term strategy. This is where Google's very good. They get those kids used to using Google Apps, using Chromebooks, and when they become corporate CEOs 20, 30 years from now, they won't be looking at Microsoft for Exchange servers and SharePoints and all of that. And the fact that you can get a Chromebook for a kid and it does what you need to do in school for $250 retail, that's a selling point for a school that's been spending a lot more. I do believe this is, in many ways, a future of education. Chromebook, you know, you can't play games on it, really. I mean, very simple games. You're not playing Call of Duty on it. That's not a bad thing. It's easy to lock down. You don't have to worry about viruses. If there's a problem with it, there's a thing in its settings called Power Wash. You do a power wash, and the Chromebook's back to the way it was came from the store. Updates are automatic. Very powerful. Now, I'm curious because there's this issue, of course, and I don't know if it's a real issue or not, about privacy. That people worried that Google knows everything about you? What do they know about you? And do you care? And is it worth it? Understand that that's the trade. You know, that's the trade-off. Google makes a lot of this stuff available for free, and they got to monetize it somehow. Does it bother you? Might. In schools especially, it might. Denise, Santa Clarita, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Denise, Chris?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Good morning. I have a question. I have a 2012 Mac Mini, and then I have a monitor that's a non-Mac, and I just got Maverick installed, and I wanted to utilize the Siri properties, and I was told by the Apple store that I need a microphone. So
yeah, because the Apple monitors have microphones built in, and your non-Apple monitor probably doesn't. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you could just get it a little, because it's got a microphone port on the Mini, right next to the headphone port. So you just get a little, you need to get one that has a mini jack on it, and there are quite a few of these. You could look on Amazon or go to, I bet the Apple store sells them. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. And you just plug it into the Mini, and then you'll be able to talk to it.
What does it look like? Is it just a little...
Well, there are different kinds, but there's some that are just little capsules. They're little, they're tiny, like size of a pill. And a wire obviously goes to it. And you could put that on your monitor, you know, put it at the base of your monitor. You could put it pretty much anywhere. They're small. So Monoprice, that's another good place to get them.
Monoprice?
Yeah. The key is the connector. You want a microphone. You know, it's so funny. The PCs, I don't know if you remember these days of PCs, they always came with a microphone that you'd plug into the sound card. And sometimes they were on little gooseneck arms or plastic arms. They were terrible. But I guess for Siri to talk to the computer, you don't need too much. Let me just see what Monoprice has for... you'd have to look for a mic that works with the computer sound port. So it has a little... yeah, there's quite a desktop microphone or computer microphone, that kind of thing. So they have a little mini jack that goes into the sound card. That should work fine. I mean, you could spend hundreds, but this should be, you know, not expensive. Maybe $10. Tell you what, I will find some on Amazon and put them in the show notes at techguylabs.com. How about that?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Let me just do a search. Computer microphone. We used to buy them all the time. Here's one for $12.99. It's a gooseneck desktop microphone. It would be nice to have a little stand on it. That way it could be closer to your mouth. You don't want to get too much room noise in there, right? Mm-hmm. And it has a 3.5 millimeter stereo jack plug. That's exactly what you want. So this is from Connect Land. It's on Amazon, $12.99, including the stand. It even has a little on-off switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways to do this.
Okay.
And you're going to talk to Siri. And you want to tell Siri things like searches and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google Chrome does that too. So if you wanted to use the Google voice dictation, I use that on, if you use Chrome on a Macintosh. You have to be, I think, using the beta version of Google Chrome. You say, okay, Google, when you're in a search window and it talks to you. Not anymore? Regular Chrome has it too, huh? That's awesome. So you do, unfortunately, you have to be, in a Google, have a Google search window available. Let's go to google.com. Let's see if it's, oh yeah, there it is. All I have to do is say, okay, Google. Hello. I don't know. I should say something intelligent, shouldn't I? Okay, Google. What time is it? I don't know. Does that make sense? What time is it?
The time is 11:39 a.m.
Wow. Thank you. So there you go. I've got to be honest with you. I don't know how much this has changed the way I use computers. I never remember to talk to the computer. The Apple, you can set it up so that you double tap the function key or control key. I think that by default it's double tap the function key and the microphone pops up and you can record or ask questions. By the way, somebody said, you set off my Moto X. Yeah, my Moto X woke up too. Okay, Google. Who's Leo Laporte? See if it knows who I am.
According to Wikipedia, Leo Gordon Laporte is an American technology broadcaster, author, and entrepreneur.
See, who says Google doesn't know too much about you? Mike, Portland, Maine, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. I'm hoping you can help me out. You always have before, so I have no doubt, actually.
That's what I'm here for, Mike.
I have an older Sony flat-screen television that has a wired internet connection, and you were the man that told me to get a wireless bridge, which I did, and it's been working great.
Good.
Except I'm having trouble connecting actually with the Sony server. I've had to call Sony a few times because every so often things slow down and it tells me that there's no connection.
Yeah, that may not be Sony's fault. It might be the device itself if it can't see the Wi-Fi. I've had, different devices have different capability with Wi-Fi. I have one phone, not all my phones, that constantly says you lost your connection. Same place that's sitting right next to another phone that works fine.
Leo, it's not the Wi-Fi because I'm connected with a bridge.
Oh, you're physically connected, but there is Wi-Fi
connected.
Okay.
And I know the bridge is good because I can plug the computer in. I can see everything's good with that. I check the speeds. It's definitely either the Sony device itself, which I don't think so because I reset it, I unplug it, I've done everything. And then the last time I called Sony, what they did to me is they said, let me disconnect you from the server and completely reset, start you up with a new password.
And that worked?
That worked, but now...
Hold on a sec. We got to take a break. That's weird. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Gordon was my grandfather's name, Gordon Dunlap. That's right. That's kind of cool. Vistaprint.com. So that's an all Chrome now, huh? I always use Chrome Beta, so, I don't think talking to your computer, I think it's overrated. I don't know if I really want to talk to my computer. I want to talk to Kim. I don't want to talk to my computer. I want to talk to John, but I don't want to talk to my computer.
Computers don't have feelings.
They don't have feelings. Let's see. What else could I do with it, I wonder? Okay, Google. Play the Rolling Stones.
Oh, I hope it can do that.
No, it can't. It can on my phone. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? What else could it do? I haven't seen Her yet. Have you seen Her? No. I want to see it. That's hey, if my computer was Scarlett Johansson, I might talk to her more often.
You might do a lot more to your computer.
Yeah, right. Okay, Google. Rolling Stones songs. See how fast
Here
it
are
is?
songs by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, and then you can play them. So that's cool.
You can play them if you buy them, right?
No, they put it up on YouTube.
YouTube songs.
Yeah. Where does your dog sleep? On my bed. Why is it asking me that? That was weird. I had to answer. Wait a minute. Now that's intrusive.
What asked you that?
Let me do that again. Okay, Google. Play a Rolling Stones song. No. Rolling Stones song. Okay. Okay, Google. Rolling Stones songs.
Here are songs by the Rolling Stones.
Thank you. Let's do that again. See if it asks me for a Google survey question. No, now I get that. But I got a Google survey question before. That's weird. Have you ever seen that before?
No. It asked you where your dog napped?
Where does my dog sleep? Let me see if I do it again, if it'll do it. No, now it just plays. That is the strangest thing ever. Okay, Google. Atari Breakout. Now, how do you play it? Okay, Google. Play Atari Breakout. No. My phone wakes up now. Not just on OK Google now, but no OK Google. I started the Rolling Stones on your Moto X. I'm sorry, Frankie.
Oh,
your voice must be similar to mine. Oh, yeah, I'll do it in the private tab. That's a good idea. New incognito window.
Ask what Petaluma Lunch had on that. Let's see
Oh, yeah.
that survey.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Google. I guess if it's private, it doesn't listen. Okay, Google. No, I already said that. Rolling Stones songs.
Here are songs by the Rolling Stones.
So it won't know me now.
Indulge in the pleasures
Yeah,
of
now I'm getting an
Parmesan,
ad.
your Olive Garden's best 2 for $25.
Yeah, but I don't want.
To tie everything together, right? So
Yeah, so it won't ask me the survey question if it doesn't. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, now I got a very weird thing. I'm wondering if anybody saw this, have seen this on YouTube. I got Google to, I was talking to my browser. Have you seen Her? Have you seen the movie Her yet? No, I want to see that. That's the movie with Scarlett Johansson as a computer voice and Joaquin Phoenix. That's right. He falls in love with her, right? I haven't seen the movie, but I think that this is we're getting near it. It's sci-fi. It's not here yet. But we're getting close. Siri's very attractive. She seems very nice. I don't know if I'd fall in love with her, but she seems very nice. Anyway, I asked it to play a Rolling Stones song. It gave me a list of them. I clicked one, and it took me to YouTube where I was asked a survey question. I clicked it too fast. I should have investigated further. It said, where does your dog sleep? In a cage, in a bed, on your bed? I said on my bed. Now, is that YouTube app? What was that an app? What happened there? Is Google now asking me survey questions? Like, okay, now they know I have a dog and it sleeps in bed with me. Am I going to see Alpo ads now on my Gmail? Ads for flea powder? I don't know. Has anybody seen any of these surveys on YouTube? This is very interesting. What I find interesting is that Google constantly pushes what it calls itself the creepy line. They understand that to be useful to you, they've got to be a little bit creepy. But they don't want to be too creepy, so creepy that you stop using it. And they're always testing that line. We were talking to Mike in Portland, Maine. He has a Sony television. It's a smart TV. Which Sony TV is it?
It's an EX700. It's an older model.
And it's connected via Ethernet. because we got you that bridge so that you could get online. So the bridge is via Wi-Fi, but once it's next to your TV, it's Ethernet. And the TV can do other stuff. Does Netflix fine and things like that?
Well, it does. Amazon Prime is what I'm using.
Okay, Amazon Prime. That's a good one. And no problems there.
Well, that actually there is, because it doesn't go to Amazon Prime directly.
Oh.
What I'm seeing, it's got to go through the Sony
It goes through
server.
Sony servers, and that's where you're getting this error message that says can't make a connection. Connection's
It goes
down.
so slow, or it says there's no connection, or it says retry.
Is there anything else you do with that TV online that you could see if it was working all right?
I have Crackle, which is free, and I get the same thing because
Sony owns Crackle, unfortunately.
Right.
So.
Everything goes through the. I think anything that I use on the Sony TV will go through the Sony server. I think that's how their system works. I think the only option that I have to avoid that would be to buy a Roku and plug it in, which I'm trying to avoid. I mean, I can, but why spend the $89 when I don't need to?
Yeah.
If I don't need to.
You got me. I do not know why this Bravia will not. The problem is we cannot diagnose. I guess you could get another device, plug it into that Ethernet, and see how it's working. Do you have a laptop you could try it with?
Oh, yeah, and I've done that, and it's absolutely fine when I'm plugged into the bridge. The router's good. It's a D-Link router. It's a D-Link bridge.
So you get good throughput. Everything works on the computer. It's the TV that's not working.
Absolutely. And when the Sony technician that I talked to on the phone down in El Salvador, but he was great, he said, let me see what I can do. And he said he completely disconnected me from the server, and I had to re-register the TV. Boom, everything was great for about a day. And then I started it again today, and it wasn't working.
You do have to start thinking maybe this is Sony's fault.
I have a feeling it might be, but I didn't know if you had heard of it. Anybody in the chat room knows about it that might have any ideas. That's why I'm calling you, because you know everything.
Yeah, no, I never heard of this issue. But given everything you've told us, it does really sound like it's up to Sony. And that something's going wrong with the Sony app. This is an early attempt at smart TV, and I have to say, even today, smart TVs leave a little bit to be desired compared to, say, a Roku or a Chromecast. You know what you might try is a Chromecast.
Well, I'm a Luddite. I don't have a smartphone or anything like that.
Okay. Roku 3 is here's a deal for you. On Woot.com, they're selling factory reconditioned Roku 3s, which is fine, for $65 if you wanted to try a Roku.
What was the website?
Woot, WOOT.com.
Okay.
I mean, that, maybe now I don't want you to get it home and have the same problem, because then it's my fault. But I have to think that Sony, it sounds to me, just from what you described, it's Sony's server.
That's my guess, too, based on my troubleshooting skills back from the old stereo days and stuff. But I just wasn't sure if you had any other suggestions or ideas, or if anything.
Yeah, not off the top of my head, Mike. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's great. Hey, can I tell you, I'm listening to you in a very unique way that you might be interested in.
What you doing?
Because you're no longer on the air up here, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, they took us off of XM.
Yeah, well, and not only that, the local station, too, switched to music, but I have a C. Crane Wi-Fi radio.
Awesome. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I get you and the whole twit everything.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way to do it, very inexpensive, and I plug in my FM transmitter, and I get it on every FM radio.
Oh, what a good idea. Yeah, C. Crane makes excellent internet radios. We've talked about internet radios before. They allow you to listen to, tens of thousands of stations.
Oh, I'm listening to my old stations from New York City, the Seattle NPR when I want to switch over, and it's wonderful.
Awesome.
And I thought you'd like to know about it, because it's
Mike.
a great little gadget, and it's cheap.
Always glad to give C. Crane a plug. They're a great company. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Take care, Mike. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like this is Sony, doesn't it? I don't have any additional information to help them with. Maybe you do. You could tell us. 8888 Ask Leo. Joe in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi, Joe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, how's it going, Leo?
Going great.
I got a question about Google Play.
Yeah.
I learned it from you, actually, because I seen it on the iPad today, I believe, is what you got. Is how I got
they just put out an iOS app. I love Google Play.
Yeah, I'm loving it so far, but I got an issue. The main appeal is why I wanted to check it out, because you said that you can upload,
right,
30,000 songs of your own library.
I think it's 25,000, but yeah. So what it does is it has a little uploader that you run, and it sees your iTunes account, and it says, okay, good, and it uploads songs it doesn't have or matches songs it does, kind of like iTunes Match, and now that's in your cloud library, and anywhere you have access to play, you can see all your tunes.
Yeah, my issue is that I loaded it on my desktop PC because that's where I had my my music library, and I can only upload 1,300 songs, and it's stuck at 1,300, and I can't upload no more than that. I was wondering maybe if you had any tips on how to get it going. I've been gone for 2 weeks straight trying to keep refreshing, restarting the computer, opening the app, starting the app again, and 1,300 and stuck. It just sits there.
It's stuck, huh?
Yeah. And
maybe it's 20. Okay, they're telling me 20,000 songs. But see, now I have uploaded, let me just look at my music. I'm curious how many songs I have uploaded here. And this is nice because I don't have to, nowadays people, because people say, well, I don't want to put, I don't want to use up all the storage on my phone. Well, you don't have to. You can stream your music from your collection.
Yeah. My main thing is on my iPad. I don't want to put all that music on my iPad, and if I could just stream it.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So I've got 2,072 artists and many songs from each of those artists. I am not sure what's going on, why it's stuck at 1,300, but you can go much higher than that. I'd restart maybe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, that's it. If they're copy protected, they won't copy. That's exactly it. It will not upload DRM songs, so that's probably what it is. In fact, I'll mention that. Yeah, I just got push bullet recently. You saw my little push bullet there, huh? Look at, there's Ringo and Paul. Oh, wow. The young kids, it's like history. I think the most excited thing is you expect people of certain ages to know the music, but actually a lot of the kids know the music. If anything is left, we have left really good music. Oh, Ringo and Paul. So apparently, according to Scott Wilkinson, they're going to play on the Grammys tonight. Ringo said, we didn't know it would be so big. It's cute to see them together. Wow. They're both wearing running shoes. Oh, you're looking at my music. You're looking at my music? Well, now, I have to confess that a lot of this stuff is not mine. That my kids have some music on here, too. I wonder, does it say somewhere how many, let's see, songs? I got 18,191 songs on here. 71 days of nonstop listening. Including the Revenge of the Screen Sizzlers. So this, obviously Google does not have. So this they uploaded to the Google servers. Original twit theme. That's funny. It's sped up a little bit now, isn't it? So the stuff that it recognizes, it'll say okay, but the stuff that doesn't recognize, it'll upload. But yes, if it's copy protected, it won't upload it. And you can just stream all of it, which is so cool. Zombie Wolf. Oh, it's lunchtime. I couldn't say where she's coming from. All right, let's see here. Okay, Google. Yes, it won't only search music. It won't do that. Let's go home. Okay, Google. Hey. Okay, Google. Hey, Google. I guess you do. I thought Google Plus had a search window. Oh, because that's a search for Google Plus. You're right. Okay, Google, what's for lunch at Petaluma Market?
The Tech Guy will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Network.
Oh, it's hearing the feed. I don't know. I guess it's feeding the feed into there.
Well, I think it's going into the board.
Is it going into the board?
Leo Laporte, the
So
Tech
here's
Guy
that?
will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Network.
Well, now that I think about it, I'm not sure.
It should be just hearing my mic. Maybe it was hearing it through the headphones. It's the same as yesterday. I'll have a large Italian wedding ball soup.
This
Thank you,
is
sir.
Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte.
Thank you, thank you. Moto X is awesome. Do not buy the Samsung Galaxy S4. Maybe the Google edition would be all right. But I really like the Moto X, and I'm not fond of the crapware that Samsung has put on the Samsung. And the Moto X is cheap. Cheap. Oh, Tasmanian Devil made a move. Let's see what Tasmanian Devil did. Oh, no, that's the old move. The removable battery, that's the S4. I don't know if the Mini has a removable battery. Yeah, the Gear Watch, I didn't hate it. I thought it was better than the Pebble, although I'm the only one in the world. January 27th, off contract, $100 discount. Wow. Wow. You know, that's maybe because then I could get wood. There's a Google Glass parody on The Simpsons tonight. So let's see what this Android and Me thing is. No contract Moto X, receive a $100 discount for 1 hour. Oh, that's a nightmare. 3 p.m. Eastern, that's noon our time tomorrow. Motorola will offer $100 off any no contract Moto X while supplies last. So how much does a no contract Moto X cost? $100 off. It's like $300. So let's do $49.99. No. See, because now they have the wood backs, and I wouldn't mind replacing mine. I don't want to. I mean, mine's fine, but I would love. I think I want this one, the walnut back. Isn't that pretty?
Do you have a wood back one already?
No, mine's plastic back.
Oh.
See, because they only started ordering those recently. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with this. So there's really no reason to buy a new one.
You can't just replace the back?
No.
Well, that's
I know.
a flaw in manufacturing.
I know. Maybe you could.
Forces you to buy a new one.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get, and what color should I get? Cinnamon? No, wood. Oh, but then, oh, I see. Well, what's the rest of the, oh, that's, okay, then if I do the wood back, oh, you only have a choice of white or black for the front. I think black with the wood back, right? Then accent, I don't like the yellow. That's weird. Blue's weird, too.
Purple.
Purple? Purple. Well, it stands out.
Black.
Oh, I should get black, huh? Emphasize the wood. And then do I want a signature on it?
Can you put your own?
No, it's only text.
Oh.
Add a name. Chief Twit. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, review plus checkout. No contracts, $3.99. So that'll be $300. Trade in your old phone and get a credit towards a Moto. Oh, I wonder if they take my old Moto X. They should. Oh, I want more memory. Ooh, that gets expensive. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy here. 8888 Ask Leo's the number. The website is techguylabs.com. This is where we answer questions and comments about computers and the internet and smartphones and home theater. At 33 and a third after the hour, we've got our our digital photography expert, Chris Marquardt, joining us to do a little photographic myth-busting. That's a little later on this hour. But meanwhile, I'm going to go right back to the phones because we've got a lot of calls waiting to get through, including Jason in Atwater, California. You're next. Hi, Jason. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Oh, hi, sir, Leo.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm calling because I had an idea for a computer that we should build called the Snacker ID.
What would the Snacker ID do?
Well, basically what it would do is it would snack on all the information out there from all the other computer, different computer types and mimic it, and then, it would operate like that, kind of like a spider-bot computer, but instead of a spider-bot virus.
Interesting. I like the idea. Patent it right now. Hey, I forgot to mention our last caller was, I was going to say this. Thank you, chat room, for reminding me. Bill in Michigan reminds me. The last caller said, I was back, I was using Google Play Music, which I love. Google Play Music is awesome. And he said it stopped at 1,300 songs. Now, in theory, it can go higher, 20,000 songs. I have 19,000, something like that, in my Google Play Music. What's cool about it is kind of like iTunes Match, is it looks at your music. It then, if it recognizes it, it says, okay, I got this. I got it covered. It's in my 20 million songs that I already have. If it doesn't, it uploads it. And the entire collection is then available for streaming to, I think it's up to 10 devices, to any device that has Google Play Music on it, including iOS devices now. It's a really nice system. They also have, if you pay $10 a month, they have access to all those other 20 million songs for that price, subscription service. And they have a radio service. It's pretty good. It's kind of like Pandora. You pick an artist, and then it'll make a radio station based on that artist and that style. So it's a nice system. So but he said, I can only upload 1,800 songs. What's going on? Or 1,300. I think, now, one thing you should know, it will not upload copy-protected music. So if you've purchased a lot of music from the old days, the bad old days on iTunes when there was DRM, it will not upload those songs. It also probably, I know iTunes Match has limits on the quality. It can't be too low quality and so forth. So here's what I did. And I did it once. If you pay $25 a year, iTunes Match will match all your songs. I did that first through Apple in my iTunes. You only have to do this once, so you can only pay. It's $25 and you cancel for the next year. Matches all your songs. Then, and this is scary, copy your library before you do this. If you delete your entire library on your computer, after you've matched everything, delete everything that's matched. I guess don't delete everything, but you can see in iTunes what's been matched. Delete the stuff that's been matched, and then re-download it. What'll happen is iTunes Match will replace every song with 256 kilobit AAC quality copies without copy protection. It effectively removes the copy protection from all your stuff. Now you should be able to upload everything. So get iTunes Match, $25. Match everything in your library. Delete all the matched songs. Re-download. Now, I bet you that'll fix it, and Google will upload everything else. You got to do that once. There are some limits. iTunes Match won't take a song that's less 96 kilobits or less, low quality. But that's easy to fix. You just re-encode it at a higher quality. Even though it sounds terrible, it'll match it and then replace it with a good quality song. So that's a trick, I think, that you can play with your iTunes collection. I'm a big fan. I have the Google. I actually use both Google and Amazon Music. They do similar things, and I have both of those clients running all the time. So when I download new music, it just uploads it automatically. Jeff is in Oklahoma. Hi, Jeff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I just installed an SSD on my Lenovo H405 desktop, and I'm having trouble enabling AHCI. I don't find it in my BIOS. It just says native mode or RAD. Any ideas?
So that is the hardware power configuration, the AHCI.
Right. My the Samsung.
Did it used to work? Because that's in yeah, that's in the kernel.
Go ahead.
That's in the kernel. So when you first install Windows on a machine, did you build this machine or did you buy it?
No, I bought it, and I don't have the original Windows disk. I have a recovery disk, but
well, I'm trying to
But when I go in my BIOS, because I have the Samsung Magician software that says enable AHCI for better performance. So when I go into the BIOS, and it's a STATA 2 motherboard, not STATA 3.
Yeah.
But when I go into the BIOS, well, my only choices are native mode or RAD. I don't have an AHCI AHCI.
Did you? But the question is, was it AHCI originally?
I don't know. No, it was just a Western Digital hard drive, I guess. I mean, that's all I had in it before.
So the BIOS was set to IDE before?
Yes.
And now you don't have a choice of AHCI, which of course the SSD wants.
Right, and I don't know if I had that choice before. I'm assuming I didn't.
Well, I would use native mode. They're saying in the chat room that's the same as AHCI. I don't know if that's the case, but I would use native. You don't want to obviously use RAID.
Okay.
Now, yeah, you only have one drive anyway, right?
Right, and I've obviously got a performance increase.
Yeah, you won't get the,
I want all I can get.
Yeah, and we've mentioned before, so it's working. It's just you want to see if you can get better.
Oh, yeah, everything works now.
Yeah. I think you'd be all right.
Okay.
The reason you're not going to get the best performance is because of that SATA 2. It doesn't, right,
I understand it's half what SATA 3 is.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have the same throughput. The drive can handle a SATA 3 connection. It's fast enough. But you're still going to get a speed improvement over that old Western Digital.
Yeah. It boots in 20 seconds now instead of 2 minutes.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, I think you're good. If that's the case, I think you're good. I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure what Lenovo does with their desktops.
This wasn't an expensive one. It was like $400, but I bought it a couple of years ago.
And I think once you formatted it under one or the other, you really don't want to switch it anyway.
Yeah, I tried changing it to RAD, and it locked up the computer. And I had to go into Windows recovery and undo everything.
I think once you've installed, you should just stick with what you got.
Yep, I think that's probably what I'll do.
Yes, so
appreciate the advice.
You're welcome. Yeah, they're telling me that native mode is compatible with AHCI. Some people in the chat room are saying RAID sometimes works with AHCI hardware if there is an AHCI, the Advanced Host Controller Interface. And I'm thinking, though, that you have to install Windows with one or the other. And once you do that, you really don't want to change. You don't want to reinstall. So stick with what you got. It sounds like it's pretty darn fast. A solid-state drive is a drive that instead of having a spinning disk, it uses the same kind of flash memory you might use in your camera. And, it's kind of like going from a tape recorder to a CD. It's or better because it's instant access. There's no, it's random access. It can access any cell of that memory almost instantaneously. So there's no seek time. And because there's no spinning drive, there's no latency. You don't have to wait for the drive to spin around to the point of the drive where the data is. It just gets to all the data. So eliminating latency and seek time, and plus really fast read times, you get a big improvement in performance. And it turns out, especially nowadays with our very, very fast processors, a lot of the computer is just waiting for the hard drive. It's just waiting for, give me something to do. I'm bored here. So speeding up the hard drive is often the best thing you can do to speed up your computer. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Bill Gates lost to Magnus. Let's face it, we're all trying to in save 9 money moves. I saw Magnus speak last week at the Computer History Museum. That was wonderful. It's interesting that this Daily Mail story has Justin Bieber in the URL.
Can he just go away, please?
No. Welcome to Bieberland. Bill Gates loses chess game in just 9 moves to the newly crowned champion, dubbed the... Oh, that is a mean thing to call Magnus Carlsen the Justin Bieber of chess. That is just not right. That's insulting. 9 moves. You'd think Bill would be a better player. Bill plays bridge. He's a very good bridge player. Bill has no idea what he's doing. I can tell right now. All you have to see is that bishop in front of the D pawn, blocking it and blocking in the other bishop, and you know that Bill is clueless. And notice Magnus got his queen right out there. Magnus is going for blood. He says, I think I shall kill you. I'm going to kill you now. That's so funny. Oh, they played Mark Zuckerberg. This is sad. I mean, this guy he's basically, it's like Rafael Nadal. Mark Zuckerberg's, I can play you, because they think, oh, I'm smart, I can play. No, you're not smart enough. Sorry. You're just not smart enough. Just because you're a smart person doesn't mean you can play chess any more than you could play tennis. This guy is the highest ranked chess player of all time, probably the greatest chess player of all time. An utter genius. He's 22 years old or 23. Kind of irks me. Poor Magnus. You know, he's got to go put up with this, you know, dancing monkey crap. The Justin Bieber of chess. You see, you'd never see Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates say, well, to Rafael Nadal, well, I could beat you at tennis. No. But why would they say that I could beat the greatest chess player of all time? Well, you know, I'm a pretty smart fellow. Yeah. It's not that kind of smart. Hey, stop it, Jeff. You did not crush me in Quiz Up. The math was hard. I think I beat you a couple of times in easy math, though. Then we start playing hard math and Quiz Up. It was fun. It wasn't that hard, but it was fun. Chess is marvelous. Love chess, and I play it very great deal. That's mostly what I play online. You have crushed me in Words with Friends, Dr. Mom. I don't play that game anymore. Lisa crushes me. My mom crushes me. Dr. Mom crushes me. And I'm a good Scrabble player. See, this is the problem. I can win over the board in Scrabble because you have to know the words. But Words with Friends, people are just trying things. You can try as many words as you want, and it'll say, no, that's not a word. No, that's not a word. Oh, that's a word. Frumious, that's a word. Picture of you at Comdex. Oh, let me see this, Idotech. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I do tech. There's Gary. Young Gary. That's cool. There's Dvorak and Will. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Website is techguylabs.com. Paul is in Los Angeles, our next caller. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Leo. Got a question for you. Probably answered this 100 times, but I didn't hear it. So I'm looking for a 60 to 65-inch TV. And, of course, the new 4Ks are out, and I'm just stuck whether or not to go Sony or Samsung or, you know, I definitely want something 3D. I want to use it watching the Olympics. mainly watch TV. People tell me that the Sonys are better for like movies. You know, they're natural.
No, the choice is not really between Sony and anything else, but between plasma and LCD. Plasmas are dying. Nobody wants to buy them, so nobody's going to make them anymore, and that's too bad because currently the best TV made is the Panasonic Viera Plasma. And if you're in the market for a TV, I would go and look at those because they're going to stop making them next year. Really excellent picture quality. It's what I have. And I'm just a big fan. Sony is not. I mean, Sony's fine, but they're not the company they used to be. You know, it used to be Sony was the name. You'd get a Vega or a Bravia, and that was the best TV you could get. Not so anymore.
Yeah.
I think Samsung is up there. LG is up there. Panasonic with the plasmas. There are lots of good choices, and I don't think you should necessarily get a Sony. I wouldn't argue against Sony, but I think that there's good choices. And I think the best TV out there, and it's not just me, I think it's widely agreed, the best TV out there is the Panasonic Viera. What's your budget?
About $3,000.
Oh, you're well under that. For the
what's your thoughts on the 4K though? Because
I wouldn't get 4K at this point. You can get very inexpensive 4K. The problem is they're not great TVs, and there's very little 4K content, if any. So it's like you're buying a TV on the presumption that in a couple of years there'll be content that good, and frankly, the TVs will be much better. What they're doing with 4Ks right now is they're making them really cheap, and they're not putting in the stuff that makes a TV expensive and makes it good, the circuitry, the DSP chips, things like that.
Okay.
So I think the best bet right now is to go out, get a Panasonic Viera. There's 3 levels of Viera you can buy by price. The plasmas are the best. They are going out of business, but don't think that that's an argument against plasma. It's merely that people go to the store and they look at the LED LCDs and they say, these are great, and they buy them. Yeah. The ZT60 is the top of the line. I have a VT60. I'm very happy with it, and there's a little bit less expensive ST60. These are very good. If you want the best TV on the market today, it's the ZT60.
And that runs is it 240 hertz? You know?
No, because plasma doesn't need that.
Oh, they don't need it. Okay.
That's a trick that LCD manufacturers play because LCD TVs are slow, and so in order to handle action and sports better, so you don't get blurring, they interpolate the frames. They're getting the same number of frames as everybody else, but they add extra ones. Instead of it being 60 frames per second, they add frames to make it 120 or 240, and that gives it, I think, a very plasticky, weird look. And it's not. Those are not real frames. The data does not exist. They're just interpolating. They're making it up. So So when they come out, when The Hobbit comes out in 48 frames a second, 4K on some unimagined, uncreated disc format, because nothing out there can handle it, then you should get a 4K TV. Not until then.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think you're going to love the Viera, and well under $3,000, by the way. And because it's plasma, it doesn't have that lag, so you don't have to do the high frame rate. Not necessary. Now, this advice changes minute by minute, but that is the current advice and the current agreement among everybody out there. Let me just look on... And of course, these TVs range in size, and the price ranges in size depending on the size you're going to get. But let me see. A Panasonic Viera 60-inch, nice size, ZT60 is exactly $3,000. And that is probably the best TV you're going to see on the market today. Better than the 4K because the quality of the DSP chips, the quality of the technology is better. So I just, and you're going to get 3D. I don't care about that, but you might. It's just better all round. Plasma is not particularly energy efficient, but it's not so inefficient that you're going to notice a differential in your electric bill, I don't think. Mike's in Idaho. Did we talk yesterday?
Yeah, we did. And some guy called in and said he had an answer for me.
Well, there was a guy in the chat room says he worked for Exceed. But the thinking is, so just to fill you in if you missed the show, Mike is in Idaho. He goes up into the mountain to meditate, and he's trying to get satellite internet up there. I recommended Wild Blue. From Exceed, which is an excellent product. It's the best satellite internet connection. But he's contacted them, and was it the website or was it a live person?
I talked with the way up the food chain there, and they said they would even send me a snail mail to let me know, and I never got that either.
The reason they turned you down, now, so the guy in the chat room said there must be something wrong with the website, because there's nowhere in North America that cannot get Wild Blue, as long as you have a view of the southern sky, which you do. But somebody else said, these higher quality providers like Wild Blue use beamforming. They have spot transmission, and he said they're probably oversubscribed in your area. They cannot handle more customers.
In Idaho? This is one of the least popular.
I know, that seems hard to believe, but it might be a larger area than Idaho. And remember, everybody who has internet is probably using it because you can't get cable modems or DSL modems out in there.
But isn't that for people who can't get any of it?
It is, but if all of the people in Idaho, or whatever 1,000 people are using it, I understand the population density is very low, but there are limits to the number of people that can use that transponder, I guess. We had the person was in the chat room. He's not in the chat room now, Mike. Otherwise, I would connect you to. But I'm telling you, what I'm going to do is, and would you do this for me, Kim? I'm going to put you on hold, and would you get Mike's email address, and then if the Exceed guy returns, we'll give him your email address, Mike, so that you can communicate with him. But I think that now he didn't know. But others in the chat room said, no, it's oversubscribed. That's probably what's wrong. So they even though the satellite is up there and it kind of blankets North America, apparently for better, and by the way, they get amazing results, so I'm not surprised they do something unusual. For better results, they aim a transponder at different areas. And did you get him? Did I just hang up on him? I'm sorry, Mike. If you can call back, we'll get your email address and we'll connect you. Although the Exceed guy is not in the chat room right now. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I thought I had him on hold. Dag nabbit. Keon Tech, I'm mixed feelings on the A7R. So I got the new Sony high-end camera that, people like Trey Ratcliffe are saying this revolutionizes everything. Same chip in the D800. It's a very 39 megapixel, weird 16 by 9 as well as 3.2 full-frame sensor. So it's a full-frame sensor, very high resolution, but it's it's relatively inexpensive for what you're getting, but it's still expensive. It's like $2,300 for the body. And then they only have 2 lenses with a third soon, and they say they'll have 15 by the next year, but the lenses are very limited. I got a pretty good $1,000 lens, so now we're talking, more than $3,000 for this camera. The 55 millimeter 1.8. And the images are good. Oh, hey, look who's here. We could add him to the conversation. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
So the images are good, but one of the selling points of this camera is you can use it with other lenses. So I got the MetaBones adapter for my Canon lenses. So I went from EF to FE. But the focus is so damn slow, even in bright light. It hunts.
On the A7R?
Yeah, it hunts and it hunts.
Wow.
No, with the Canon lens.
With the Canon lens, okay.
So I think that you pretty much, if you're using third-party lenses with an adapter, even a good adapter like this MetaBones, it's a $400 adapter, you're probably going to manual focus. So that's why Leica people love it, because they're the only people in the world that think this is actually easier.
Well, I'm not a Leica person, but I like manual focusing.
Yeah,
it's with a good lens. That's the thing. You need a lens that's made for it. There are some lenses that you need to turn several times to get from one end of the focus scale to the other.
Well, And the other thing is that the A7R does have this magnification feature. So you when you do the manual focus, it zooms in, and you can do. And it's got is it contrast? Yeah, contrast detection, and it'll highlight.
Oh, so you get the edges and
it'll
everything
highlight the
highlighted,
contrasty edges. So it's pretty easy to manually focus, but it's manual focusing basically. And it does say on the B&H website, the Metabones adapter gives a very slow autofocus for Canon lenses. So there you go.
And you did read this before you bought it, right?
No, of course not.
But other than that, how do you like the camera?
Yeah, it's an all right camera. It's, I mean, you know, for instance, you can upload. Let me go and look at. I have some better pictures here. You can upload pictures to You can install software in the camera. So this is with the native lens, and
that's the kit lens that comes with it.
No, there's no kit lens. It's
there is no kit lens.
Not in the U.S. I think there might be in Germany. There's no kit lens here. The image quality is excellent. The bokeh's good.
I would expect that. Yes. Yeah. Well, the bokeh is mainly down to the lens, though.
Yeah. The lens is it has built-in panorama that does quite well. Of course, it downsamples it to JPEG, and DP Reviews said the JPEGs on this are atrocious. I don't know. I use RAW. I don't know.
You know, well, new cameras rarely make photographers better like overnight.
Oh, I'm a crappy photographer still.
No, I'm not saying no.
I
did not say that. No.
I think it's cool. It's interesting. I still like the 5D Mark II. As probably still my choice, right?
I still shoot the 5D Mark II, and I love that camera.
It's a great camera and I have all the best lenses for it. So, and since this focus is so slow, it's kind of a pain. Plus, the lens is huge and the body's tiny, and it's very weird. But I do like mirrorless, and I love the resolutions. Chris Marquardt, our photo guru, he does the Tips from the Top Floor podcast, and I just downloaded his Lightroom workshop. I'm so excited about that, a video workshop for Lightroom. Thank you for doing that for us, Chris.
Oh, it's fun doing. It was really fun doing because I always wanted to give something and to putting that sparkle in people's eyes when they learn something, when they find out how something works. That's what I live for. That's one of the really important things for me. So, and Lightroom is one of these things that every photographer uses these days.
I'm coming around to that. You know, I think a lot of us wanted Apple's aperture to be competitive, but it just isn't because they haven't updated it in years.
Not quite, yeah.
And Lightroom is always being updated by Adobe. It works very nicely with Photo. More and more I like it. So if you're making the move to Lightroom, as some people are, then you might want to visit the Discover Lightroom video workshop at discoverlightroom.com. You pick the price you want to pay. Chris is great at that. So what do you want to talk about today, Mr.
Well,
Marquardt?
I have another myth, another bubble to pop, and it's light should come from the front. You know, I remember my dad telling me that make sure your subjects are well lit, keep the sun in your back. And now I want to illustrate how getting light from a different direction is probably a better idea a lot of times. And for that, I have looked at all the pictures that listeners of this show have submitted for our assignments. And I've picked a few. So if you go to tfttf.com/backlit, you will find some pictures where the light will actually come from behind. Now, the problem with frontal light that comes right from the camera, the problem is that it kills depth. It doesn't, depth happens in pictures because the light doesn't come from where the camera is.
It gives you
simple.
Sometimes people say it's flat.
Flat light, yes, and what's better is if you move the light off axis. If the light doesn't come from where the camera is, from the side, for example, or even to the back. That's kind of the extreme, the almost 180 degrees from it comes right at you. And there is this one thing there are several things that happen when you do that. The picture just almost automatically becomes a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
You will see these beautiful reflections on the edges of people. We call that hair light or rim light. You see that a lot in the studio. You do this in the studio. I do this here on my side.
Yeah, if you
There's
light a television studio, you use the traditional lighting is 3 lights. You have a key light in the front, you have a fill light from the side, and a hair light that lights up, gives you a little halo. And if you watch any TV show, that's how they're lit.
And in our case, this is somewhere behind us and above us.
Yeah.
Same in the picture that you're looking at right now, the band on stage. You can see that on stage a lot. So this light, if it comes at you, it will add certain things to the picture. It will add depth. It will add, well, sometimes it'll go as far as making a silhouette. The one that you just showed, this guy in the rain, the other thing that this does sometimes is depends on the lens, is it creates a lens flare. It creates kind of, I call this dirt in the picture. You know, it's just this.
I like that, though. I mean, so does obviously J.J. Abrams. I mean, it's
true, but it adds so much atmosphere to pictures. It's amazing because all of a sudden it feels like you're really there. Then sometimes you might have a transparent object, and if light comes at a transparent object from behind, you will have refraction in this transparent object, like a glass with a drink, for example. I've put one example in there where you have only light from the back, and it's colored, and you see the refraction patterns in the glasses, and it looks really nice. And in the end, what it does, by reducing some of the detail in the picture, it will add mystery. It will add that component where the viewer is trying to guess what's going on in this picture. And by reducing the information in this case, you will add a bit more room for the viewer to interpret what's going on in the picture, and that makes it inherently more interesting.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Some of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken are silhouettes.
And they don't have to be silhouettes, because nowadays when you look at what today's cameras can do, is they can pull so much detail out of the shadows. In the old days, yeah, it was kind of true. You needed to have the sun behind you because you needed all that light for these old films to work really well. But nowadays, the digital cameras and film, by the way, nowadays is really, really sensitive. So you will have a lot of detail in the shadows, and so you can do it now. And I suggest try to look around, where is the light coming from, and then if you do a portrait session or something, place the person so the light is somewhat coming from behind, and you'll be surprised how interesting those pictures all of a sudden will look.
I agree. I shoot a lot of silhouettes. I realize as I look at my Flickr feed, I shoot far too many silhouettes, but I just love the mystery of that, and it's so beautiful.
It makes you think. It makes you put. There is content in a real silhouette where the shape is all black. There is content missing, so you will have to fill in the blanks, and that's what makes it interesting for the viewer, because they will all of a sudden start to get to work on the picture.
Now, we like you to use these ideas you hear from Chris and take some pictures, and to that end, every month we give you an assignment, not a competition, no prize, but an invitation to go out and take some pictures. In this case, we want you to illustrate the word or the idea departures.
Yes.
Departure.
Just departure.
Single departure. All right.
Just one departure.
One departure. Here's your chance. When you take the picture, and it can be with any kind of camera. We're not prejudiced about cameras. When you take the picture, we invite you to tag it with the word departure, and then upload it to Flickr. Flickr's free. It's a Yahoo photo sharing site. That's where we put all our pictures. And there's a special Tech Guy group there. So join the Tech Guy group. Renee Silverman, our moderator, will welcome you. If you add a picture, she'll thank you for the picture. You can do up to one a week. And she also puts up intermediate contests every once in a while to have some more fun. Just for fun. Just an excuse to go out and take some images. You'll find Chris Marquardt at discoverlightroom.com, and Tips from the Top Floor is his podcast, tfttf.com, and he joins us every week to talk about photography. And I just wanted to inspire you to go out. And it can be your camera phone. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. In fact, camera phones are real good at backlight.
if you look at the light situation, if you find backlight, get your iPhone, your Android out, take a picture. The chances are that this will be an interesting picture, no matter what camera you use.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
And thank you for the Lightroom workshop. DiscoverLightroom.com. 8888 Ask Leo. Chris joins us every week, by the way, so tune in next week and we'll talk more about photography. And do submit your... Now that I got a new camera, I got a new toy. So I do this periodically just for fun. And In fact, Chris and I were talking about the new toy. And now that I've got that camera, this is an excuse to go out and take a picture of a departure of some kind. Don't know what that would be. Thank you, Chris. I'll see you soon. Chris Marquardt. 8888 Ask Leo. There are, in fact, we'll put the images that Chris was talking about up on our website, techguylabs.com. If you head over there, you'll also see audio and video from all of our previous 1,051 shows. You can see recent shows divided up by question and answer, which is an easy way to find something. You don't have to ever write anything down as you're listening. Just remember techguylabs.com, and you can go there and find the answers, and I hope elucidate, annotate, and add to in the comments section. Always free, always open. techguylabs.com. Diane is on the line from Chicago. Hi, Diane. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
More than wonderful, getting better and better.
I love it.
You.
Thank you.
Okay, I love your program. I don't know why they say Kim Commando so good, but anyway.
Don't mention that name. All right, just for that, we're going to take a break and come back, and I have to compose myself. No, okay. I have to take a break, Dan. Hang on. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't know why they mentioned that Kim Commando. I know, the bane of my existence. She's been syndicated a lot longer than me, so. You know, I've never met her, actually. I think we're going to Chicago now. Thanks to our musical director, Nathan Staten, does a great job each and every week playing the tunes, spinning the discs. We're back to Chicago, back to Diane. Hi, Diane.
Hi.
So what can I do for you today?
Okay, I have an Asus laptop, an 11-incher. It's an X202.E.
Okay.
The battery is under the case. To get to it, you have to unscrew it. And the battery is only 2 cell. This is a 500 gig. It's running on i8, and it has 4 gigs of RAM. Can I upgrade that battery to 4 or 6 cells?
Well, you can't internally, of course, because it won't fit. But they may have, in some cases, Asus does have external extension batteries. Let me just see if they have an accessory pack. Let's see. Yeah, no, that doesn't look like it.
Palmer 38 WH capacity.
Yeah, okay, so that's another way to go, which is with a non-Asus external battery that you just charge the Asus with. And there are a lot of those around. Anker, A-N-K-E-R, makes them. The key is you need the same adapter that the Asus has. What kind of adapter? Is it a specialized proprietary adapter on the charger? It looks like it is.
Oh no, the charger is very small. The one that you plug into the wall.
Yeah, but that's got to be. You got to have the same tip. Yeah, I see it now. You got to have the same tip on your external battery. It's got to have one that works with the Asus. But if that's the case, you can use a third-party battery with it. Energizer makes they're basically little chunky bricks that you power, you charge up just like you would any other battery, unplug it, take it with you with the Asus, and then you use the Asus to power it. You know, there are some, if you can't get one that has the same tip as the Asus, and it doesn't have to match, there are some that have actual plug sockets. They're a little bit bigger. They have to have a transformer and stuff, but...
Leo, I don't know if I made myself clear. This battery cannot come out of the computer.
No, you cannot do it internally. I understand that. You have to do something external.
Yes.
And so I'm talking about an external battery.
Okay, but I was wondering, could I change this one?
No.
Take it out completely?
No, because it won't fit. Yeah. The problem with laptops, they're very proprietary. And so, there's no standard design for a laptop. So there's no a standard battery. Asus doesn't, and 2 cells is all it'll fit in there. So what you need is an external battery that you carry with you. Mm-hmm. Now, the trick on that is if you're going to charge the Asus through its charge port on that, the external battery has to have that kind of connector.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And many of them do. A lot of these companies will sell them with 100 different tips, or they guarantee you that you can get a tip. There's some that are so-called universal. So that's the trick, is to find one that's the same as this Asus connector. Mm-hmm. let me just look and see. The chat room's giving me a link to a 20 amp hour, which is a lot. Ultra high capacity, multi-voltage, external battery backup charger. And it says it works with ASUS's. I would take a look at this one. It's on Amazon. It's not cheap. It's $90, but you know that a bigger battery costs that much. Yeah, that's what it costs. I like Anker. I think they're very good. It looks like it contains 10 different laptop connectors. So that you'd have the one that you need, but I want to make sure it has the one that works with your ASUS. So I'm not sure how you'd figure that out, except to maybe read reviews or see if anybody else has used it with that ASUS. They say it works with a variety of manufacturers, including HP, Dell, Acer, ASUS, Toshiba, Google Glass, Nexus tablets, iPads, iPhones, Galaxies, and more. So, it does claim that it works with ASUS, but I would make sure that you have the right tip.
I think that was so dumb to put it under the cover where you cannot pull it out and just use power.
Well, I'll tell you why they do that now, Diane, to save space. So if you can't get it out, they don't have to wrap it. They don't have to put it in a package that you could...
Oh, please.
Well, everybody does it now, unfortunately. It's the new thing. Anker has... Okay, this is good. If you go to IANKER.com... IANKER.com. They have a grid that shows which laptops they are compatible with.
Okay.
So you can search for that laptops and make sure before you buy it. But I've used a lot of Anker products. I really like them. And this would be external. It means in one more thing to carry.
Okay.
But you just can't put it inside. And everybody's doing that now to save space. That makes these smaller.
Okay.
And they've said, and they scrimped on the battery too, because 2 cells is not much. How many hours do you get on that thing?
2.5.
Yeah, it's nothing. I don't blame you for wanting more.
Right. Can I tell you about a good office substitute?
You can, yeah.
SoftMaker Office.
I don't know that one. SoftMaker. Okay.
Right. And a good browser, Maxthon, Maxthon.
Yeah, I like Maxthon a lot. That's based. Yeah, I think they've skinned Internet Explorer, but SoftMaker Office Professional, and this is what you use, Diane.
It's free. I use this. Yes, the SoftMaker.
I love it, and it supports Exchange and everything.
I have a Lenovo that has a terabyte, and this little Asus I just carry around with me sometimes.
Yeah, because it's very portable, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's how they got it portable. By making the battery not replaceable. Same thing they do with iPads and a lot of other stuff. It makes it thinner because they don't have to put any packaging around the battery cell. They can just stick it right in there. And so it's much more compact, but it's not user replaceable, and that's kind of a drag. I agree.
And, Leo, I listened to you on TuneIn. I heard the man said he couldn't get you on his radio anymore.
TuneIn is everywhere, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, TuneIn Radio. I bought the Pro version because I use it in lots of stations. We're also on iHeartRadio and many other radio apps for your iPhone and your Android. It's not too hard to listen to the show. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see, we have callers from all over the world. Obviously, they're listening on the Internet. I would imagine that the number of people who listen on Internet is going up all the time.
And the last thing, I have a Note 3, Samsung Galaxy Note 3.
Yeah.
And it's about 5.7.
It's gigantic. I have one, too. I love it. Do you like it?
No, I'm in love with it. Like I'd love a man.
Well, I do take it to bed almost every night, so maybe you got something there, Diane.
And so I don't need it between this 11-inch laptop and the Note 3. I don't need a tablet.
You don't? That's the beauty of it. 5.7 inches. This thing I call it a phablet, a phone and tablet. It's big enough you can do almost everything on it.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Diane, you're the greatest. Thank you for calling.
All right.
You made my day. I don't like it. I love it. Like a man. Now we say hello to, I'm sorry, it wasn't Mike in Palmdale. It was Lynn Ella in Los Angeles. Hi, Lynn Ella.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm good. We're going to have to take a break in a second, but we can start anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't tell your screener the prequel to what I was doing.
Well, give me the prequel, and then we'll do the sequel after the news. How about that?
Okay, that's good. we bought a laptop, and I bought the service plan. Well, the laptop had problems with my sister's. She took it in. They needed to replace the hard drive.
Yeah.
Well, the people said that they were not required to ghost the hard drive because
No, you got to do that before you bring it in.
But because the new computers, they don't ship this, they ship it on a hidden partition.
So hang on, because we're going to talk more about that. That's a great question. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is a common problem. I don't like my Note 3. I love it. It's better than a man. That's what I'm saying.
With my phone
I sleep.
too.
I go. Don't you get in bed with your phone?
I
Sure,
do.
we all
it's
do.
right there.
Lisa.
It was dead this morning, so I don't know what happened.
You killed him. Wow.
No,
wow.
You know what it is I just discovered this Auto Awesome thing.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Well, it's
I
great,
love Google
but I have
Plus.
like 6,000 photos, and I guess it's backing them all up.
Yeah.
And,
Did you not know it?
Well, I never did it until yesterday. So I found it yesterday, and then my phone was dead this morning.
Now
I
you
guess
have
it
to.
had been loading
It's uploading.
all night long.
Yeah. You don't plug it in at night, huh?
I usually do, but last night I didn't.
You can set that in the Google Plus app to only do it when you're plugged in, when you're charging on, or on Wi-Fi. And
I
would
do
recommend
have
that.
it on only Wi-Fi because I don't want it.
I think you can set it to only do it when it's plugged in.
Oh, okay.
That would be preferable, wouldn't it? You don't want it to kill the charge. Yeah. Although now that it's done it,
Yeah, I
it
don't know if it's done all
won't be a
of
problem.
them,
But yeah, I mean,
I guess there's like 3,000 more photos.
that's
I'm a little
good.
bit of a-
But they're all backed up now. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll just stay there, and I can only view them.
They're
unless I
private
share
unless you share them. You bet. You should. I have them all. So I love Google Plus for that. I'll show you. I have I don't know how many pictures up there. Every picture I take goes to Google Plus. And of course they do it so you use it for sharing.
Yeah.
But I just love it. These are pictures I took with my Moto X on Friday.
Where's that?
We went to Calistoga. Yeah, we went to Indian Springs. It's a pool heated by the hot springs. It was a beautiful day.
There was great cloud porn the other night.
And it was like 80 degrees.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That, Thursday night, I think?
This was Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday
Yeah.
night I got some incredible pictures
Yeah.
on my ferry boat ride home.
And then the other thing that Auto Awesome does is it will automatically animate,
Yeah.
which is really fun. If
So
it sees
is that when you take multiple photos
in the
and
same
kind of-
close time
Okay.
frame. Yeah, it senses it and it goes, yeah. Yeah, so that's this.
So I didn't know about this, and I was noticing that my phone is pretty much full because
Well,
of
now
the
you can
photos.
delete all your photos.
Yeah, so I'll have to do that.
Which is a nice thing. Here's from Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah. I think
Mustache.
that's what I'm going to look like in a couple of years.
Mm. With a strange little Nazi mustache.
It's not a knot. It's bigger than that.
Hitler mustache.
This was, you were here at the last day at Candlestick.
Yep.
It turned out really was the last day, too,
It
huh?
was. Sadly, it was. But it's snowing.
If you
which is
shake
odd.
if you shake your phone, it snows on the picture. But the Auto Awesomes, and then also Auto Awesome Sparklies,
Yeah, look at that.
which is cool. Yeah.
Fun little features.
I'm a big fan. I'm a Google Plus fan.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7.
Niners.
The Tech Guy will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
Another great season. Thank you, San Francisco. Oh, this was a. I wanted to make an Auto Awesome, so I took a bunch of pictures of the fire just to see if it would do it. It did. It's kind of cool. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. And it's time to talk about computers and tablets, internet access, smartphones, home theater, how much you love your phone, things like that. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. 888-827-5536. Do remember, that the website is techguylabs.com, and all the stuff you're trying to find, all the things you want to remember, all the information you need is there. techguylabs.com, including a link to our fabulous chat room, where they have a lot of fun all day. techguylabs.com. So we were talking to Lynella in Los Angeles. The prequel was her sister's laptop broke. They brought it in, and they warned her. They said, we do not make a copy of the hard drive. This is true anytime you bring in a computer. You should always make a copy of the hard drive, because the chance of them replacing the drive is often high. So what was the upshot?
Well, what they did was they restored it using, they still have it, the backup. When we first got the computer, Toshiba had a backup program where we made a full backup.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure whether that full backup also restores the hidden partitions.
It does, I believe.
It does?
Yeah.
So then she'll be able to do a factory restore like it first came.
That's a great question. So they took out the old hard drive and put in a new one.
Yes.
And they restored from the restore disks that you created when you first got the computer.
Yes.
In most cases, and chat room, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I'm not sure what Toshiba's policy is, but in most cases, the backup recovery disks you create contain everything, including the restore partition. But a number of people in chat room say, no, probably not. And this is why I, by the way, really don't like these. The restore partitions are convenient, but if you've lost it because you put a new hard drive in, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Right. And I was going round and round with them about the service contract that said that they restore the computer to manufacturer specifications. And I'm like,
well, you got them there, because that is the manufacturer specification. There's a restore partition.
They don't agree. We bought it through Fry's Electronics.
Oh, Fry's. Yes. See, so you have a third-party warranty there. Fry's does the warranty, not Toshiba.
Right. We bought a 3-year extended.
I would guess you could ask Toshiba for recovery disks that would include the partition, but you don't really need the recovery partition if those disks are intact. Those recovery disks, in effect, back up, make a copy of the recovery partition so you can run it from disks.
Okay. Well, we'll see when we get it back. But they were saying they don't ghost the hard drive. To their policy is they don't restore the restore partition.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they're going to restore whatever the recovery disks did.
Okay.
In some cases, that will include a recovery partition. In some cases, it won't.
Right.
So I think the only thing to do is to go into the disk manager, the drive manager, and see if there's a partition there for the recovery partition.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world if it's not, because you have those recovery disks. Although, in my opinion, the recovery disks, that's a fragile thread you're hanging by. If those are lost or damaged, then what do you do?
Right. So then that's what got me to this other situation. We have a Lenovo with Windows 8. And I said, okay, I'm going to copy this hard drive, including the hidden partitions.
Right.
I put in a program called Fix-It Utilities 11 Professional. It said it worked on Windows 7, so I'm thinking, okay, it works on Windows 8. Plus, I'm going to boot up from it. And I always thought when a person booted up from a disk that information was only loaded into temporary memory.
That's right.
It never touched the hard drive unless you told it. I was going to get information to see if this program would show the hidden partitions, and then if it would do a full copy of the drive to another drive, so that this wouldn't happen again.
Lynetta, you're a smart woman. That's exactly the right thing to do. What did it do?
Well, the disk told me that the partition was corrupt. And I'm like, wait a minute. That partition is not corrupt. So I exited.
It is the old, they're up to 14 now, and I bet you it doesn't work with Windows 8.
Okay, so I exited the program. And when I rebooted the computer said operating system missing.
Oh.
And I'm like, what did this do to the computer? So fortunately, with this computer, I had made a backup, and I was able to restore the backup.
I wish all callers were as smart as you, Lynella.
Well, I'm a geek, so that
I could tell, and that's good that you had a backup because
I'm a geek. I'm a girl geek.
And you're right. That's bad behavior.
TV. I'm a geek.
I love it.
And
well, that is very bad behavior for that Fix-It Utilities. It should not do that.
Okay, I called them, and they said it was Microsoft's fault. I mean, what do you mean? This is your disk, not Microsoft. So what they told me in essence was with Windows 8, they don't use BIOS. They use some new thing.
That's right. It's UEFI. Yeah.
And that's what did it. So now I'm thinking.
Well, but you know what? That Fix-It Utilities, it should have said, oh, this is a UEFI computer. I'm not going to do anything. It did it. Not Microsoft.
Okay.
It did it. But when it came out, version 11, like 3 or 4 years ago, it didn't know about UEFI. So.
Right. So are all of my utility disks that has always worked when you boot up in a computer, I should not put them in?
If you made them with Fix-It, if you made it with Fix-It 11, I wouldn't.
No, I mean things like Acronis or all of those.
Be careful because that's a big difference between BIOS and UEFI, and I think you got bit badly. It shouldn't have happened, but I think that is something to be aware of. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where would I go to find out more information about this new whatever it is?
You can Google UEFI. It's a secure. So Microsoft went to this because it has a secure boot. It's a way of securing it. It can keep programs from writing to the BIOS or rewriting the firmware in there. And there's a lot of other benefits. There's a good Wikipedia article on it. And you'll see what Microsoft did, which is somewhat controversial because, for instance, it makes it hard to create a dual boot system on that new computer.
Right, that's what they were saying.
Yeah,
okay.
So there's a number of issues. It's the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface is what that stands for. So you got to live with it. All new computers will have it going forward. That is the future. So it's okay to get some new utilities. Acronis should be updated. You should have an update of Acronis.
I just bought that one. Actually, I just bought the other one, too. So I'm going to check. But that makes me want to stay with Windows 7. And
but you'll have to have older hardware, too, because everything new is going to have UEFI.
Right. Well, since I'm a geek, I have a lot of old school stuff.
Stick with the BIOS computers, because all those utilities will be fine. But as soon as you go to UEFI, all bets are off.
Okay. Okay, and two other little things. I haven't heard them recently. Your callers call in because they have a videotape, and they say the VCR is eating the tape.
Yeah.
That means the heads are dirty. You remember in the old days, even for the audio tape, you have to take
Q-tip and a little alcohol, and yeah.
They need to go to. I guess Radio Shack still sells them. They have head cleaning tapes. And when you run the head cleaning tape, it will solve that problem of eating the tape. Of course, your tape is damaged, but it will solve that problem, and they'll be able to copy them to the new medium, which makes me come to my last point. There's a company that I've seen in Staples a lot. It's ION. They make a lot of items.
I like ION.
Use them.
Yeah.
They make a lot of items that take old school technology and digitize it. A lady called last week about.
They make a USB hard drive and stuff. I like them a lot. Hey, I got to run, Lynella. Thank you. You're great. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't think we're going to get many more calls about VHS tapes being eaten, but you never know. If we do. Hey, have you heard postage rates? We've been getting great callers. Fun stuff. I should have Lynella fill in for me. Lynella and Diane could come on and do the show. You know what? They would do a great show. I bet the two of them would be so funny. They'd be a hoot. Diane could say, I don't like this. I love it like a man. I want Lynella and Diane to do a show together. Old Geezer, aptly named, says, I had a Betamax tape that was eaten recently. Tech ladies. Oops, teacher put pot in potluck dish. A little literal-minded, I guess. The hot tamales of tech. I agree with Sue. It's criminal that people sell computers without installed disks. Now, Apple has solved that problem because they do a really interesting recovery thing. If you do Command R on reboot, if there's no recovery partition, it will literally download it from Apple. You have to have internet access. But I think that's awesome. I love it. You absolutely can upgrade to Windows 7, and I would. Like a man. You love it like a man. I think that's our twit bit. Yeah, you can always call Toshiba or whoever. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And we're talking to Mike in Palmdale, California. Hi, Mike. Leo Laporte here.
Hi, Leo.
Thanks for hanging on.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not the most computer literate person there is, and I still prefer a PC, desktop with a physical keyboard and mouse. My wife has an iPad, and I don't even look at it. Trouble is, my old PC died, and I don't have a lot of money to spend on a new one, about $400 or $500. And I was looking on the internet, and Amazon sells some that are refurbished by a second party. And looking at that site, they said that they had a choice of some that were used but refurbished, or used and like new. And there was only like $20 difference. They were.
I'm always reluctant to do. I don't have anything against refurbished computers if you're getting it from the manufacturer, Apple or whoever. But third-party refurbishment makes me nervous because you don't know what troubles this computer had. You don't know why it's being refurbished. If you're getting it from Dell, if you're getting it from Apple, that's different. I don't like third-party refurbs. Now, you say you like computers. What do you do with the computer? I'm not going to make you buy an iPad, I promise.
Mainly I do the internet and my emails, and that's about it.
One thing I would consider, and it's $250 brand new, is a Chromebook. Now, I was not a fan of the netbook category. I think a lot of people bought cheap computers that weren't very good. They were hardly usable and slow. But the Chromebook category is a little different because these Chromebooks are much simpler than Windows machines. They really just are a browser, the Google Chrome browser. But they're inexpensive, they're secure, they're quite well made. I think they're a very good choice. Especially since all you're doing is, stuff you could do in the browser, email and browsing.
I've never heard of that.
This is something Google's been pushing. It's not Windows. It's not Mac. It is a keyboard and, trackpad and screen. I mean, it's a laptop. Do you want a desktop?
Yes.
See, that's going to be a little. And your price point, you'd like to get it down to $300?
Well, $5 at the most. I
would go. Here's what I would do. I don't think it's worth. I think I'd hate to see you throw away $500. And you might on a third party refurb get a good computer, but you might not.
About $200.
Yeah. I would go to the Dell refurbs. They're going to be better quality. They're backed up by the manufacturer. They're going to be a little more expensive, but you're getting it from somebody that's going to back it up, that's going to stand behind it.
Okay.
I think that's better than going to a third party. It makes me very nervous to go to a third party.
Okay, thanks. My my old computer had Windows XP,
Yeah.
and some of the people who know me say that don't even bother with Windows 8. Try to get something with Windows 7.
Yeah, I would. And a refurb will be Windows 7 because it won't have the latest on it. And I agree with them. XP, it is time to get a new one. XP is not going to get any updates after April 8th, and that's scary because it means you're not protected online from hackers. I would go to the Dell outlet and I bet you could find a pretty decent computer for $500 on the Dell outlet.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be better off. Don't get it from a third party. Get it from the manufacturer. Dell gives you great stuff, and they're pretty aggressive in the pricing because they buy in quantity. And I like Dell. I think they're still a quality company. In fact, now that they've been taken private, you know that Michael Dell got some investors together and took them private, took them off the stock market. Now that they've done that, I think that they're even getting a little bit better. Here's a Dell Inspiron 660, brand new for $400. Brand new. It's got a third generation i3 processor. It does run Windows 8, but Dell's nice because you can say I don't want Windows 8. So this is decent. It's an i3, which it's 4 gigs of memory, a terabyte hard drive. It's going to be a light years better than your old computer. $400. That's a great deal, including keyboard and mouse, monitor, and that's not even a refurb. I do think the Chromebooks are a good choice for a lot of people. I really do. If you don't need to do standard kind of computing stuff, if you don't want to edit video or photos, or if your needs are few. Tom in San Jose, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome.
Thanks. Hey, I just recently purchased an iMac from Apple's online store. And I also purchased a RAID drive. And it wasn't very clear on the website, but it turned out to be a RAID 0 drive.
No. Is it a Promise, a Go? What is it?
It's the G drive, the G-Tech.
It is the G-Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what they're doing is putting 2 drives in there to give you more capacity.
Right. Yeah, it's like a 4 gig or 4 terabyte.
Right. So you can't buy a 4 terabyte single disk, but if you put 2 terabytes in an enclosure, it looks like 4 terabytes. But you're right to be nervous because RAID 0 is also known as Scary RAID.
Right.
It's twice as likely to fail because you have the failure rate of each individual drive, and either of them fails, the whole thing fails.
Right. So I was in there this and one of the Genius guys came and he said he uses a Dobro.
No, yeah. The Dobro's an instrument. He's talking about a Drobo, which is hard.
Oh, Drobo, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Drobo's good. They're a little pricey. I think you can go to the Apple store, or even you can, frankly, go to a Costco or a big box store, a Sam's Club, and get a large external USB drive. Are you going to use it for backup?
Yeah, well, the main thing we're going to use it for is to protect our pictures, and so I'm finally getting ready to do, go through that approach that you've espoused, and
Good.
have,
Good.
Yeah, the backup from Carbonite.
Good.
Have an external drive, and then have this RAID as well.
You don't really need a RAID. The RAID is just there to give you a bigger hard drive. If you wanted to be a true redundant backup, then RAID 5 requires a bigger enclosure. Drobo does simulate a RAID 5. The 4-disc Drobo is similar to that. And then it's going to be a doubly safe. But I don't know if you need all that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're going to take a break. We'll talk more about it when we come back. I think Dobros are expensive for what you get. I probably would recommend either a single external drive. Was that Clayton Morris? Now I have to watch this slideshow again. There's Frederick Van Johnson, but he works for Drobo. Max Fancher. That's Clayton Morris. The front light tells me I've got months before I need to expand my storage. I thought it was Clayton. That's just weird. I have to ask if they paid him to do that. There he is with his Yeti. I do tech ads all the time, but one of the rules we have with our advertisers is that ad is for in situ only inside of my show or inside of podcasts, so that the context is clear. I don't want my name on. I wouldn't want that, or a name on a billboard, or an ad. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, the tech guy, on somewhere else. Occasionally it happens because you know how these people are. But we always try to stop him. I want it to be in the context of this show, so you kind of understand what's going on. Yeah, I think Drobos are overpriced. Probably, I would say go with a Synology if you want to use a NAS. I'm a big fan of Synologies. And you can get an enclosure or so let's look surveillance. Wow. You get like a disk station, I don't know, like this. It's 2 bays, but it's RAID 5. It's not RAID 0. And the DSM software is really good, and I just like it better. It's mo better. No. There's a 4-bay NAS. Actually, you can't do RAID 5 with 2, can you? So, I wonder what those are, those 2 drives. I hope they're not RAID 0. It's RAID 1. That would make sense. Yeah, that Applebaum speech was something, huh? At the Chaos Computer Club. Yeah, because you need a redundant, right. But see, that's going to be pricey. So, unpopulated, well, it's not too bad. $379 for the enclosure. And then if you put 8 terabytes in there, it's $1,200 for 12 terabytes. That's a lot. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're talking a really interesting issue. Tom is in San Jose. He wants to back up his data, and he wants to do what I recommend, which is kind of that 3-2-1 backup. 3 copies, 2 different media types, and 1 in the cloud. So the first thing you do is you get an external drive for local backup, and that's nice because it's early, it's online, it's always available, it's fast. And a big external drive would be just fine, like a Western Digital my book or something like that. That'd be just fine. Because remember, it's backup, so speed and reliability are less important because it's only being used as a backup. Now that means that the GTEC's fine too for backup, because if it dies, well, no big deal. You still have the original. And then you would still have some sort of cloud or off-site backup solution as well. I don't think a NAS storage RAID 5 device is probably worth it because it's cost prohibitive. You've got to buy the enclosure. I was looking at the Synology NAS. That's about $379 for the enclosure. And then you have to populate it with 4 drives. That's another $400. We're getting expensive here. So it's not critical that you have this backup drive be ultra reliable. I'd keep using the GTEC as long as you're only using it for backup. Now remember, the minute you erase your photos on the iMac, that GTEC is no longer backup. It's the originals. It's the only copy. Then it's not safe, right?
Right.
So that's the deal. On a backup drive, RAID 0 is fine because it's not the only copy.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So as long as I do a cloud backup, keep the RAID 0 as a
backup only. Yeah, use Time Machine if you want or whatever. But yeah. Right. And then you always keep the originals on the iMac. Now you're great. Because any one of those can die and you still have 2 copies. Any 2 can die and you still have a copy.
Right. But I went with a solid-state drive on the iMac. So it's only 512.
Ah. So now you might want people do use Drobos for that. The iMac it has USB 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could get a USB 3 external drive. Those are pretty fast. It also has Thunderbolt, but probably not Thunderbolt 2.
Yeah, I think it's Thunderbolt 1.
Thunderbolt 1. So an external Thunderbolt drive or a USB 3 drive could be used as a data disk. I do that on my Mac Pro. I got the new Mac Pro. Same problems. SSD drive, it's tiny. Right. It's half what yours is. So I use an external USB 3 SSD drive as my data disk. I just said that's the home disk, and then the operating system and applications are internal, and that works beautifully. So that's what I'd recommend. In addition to having the G-Tech for backup, that way you're not using the G-Tech as a data drive. You have a separate data drive.
Right. So I've got a Seagate 1 terabyte drive where I have both my wife's and my iPhoto libraries on it now.
Right.
And then I haven't mounted the
you could make that your backup drive.
Right.
Now, if you have multiple computers and you want to back up multiple computers over the network, that's when you buy a network-attached storage. That can pull from all the computers. It has tons of storage. So that way, that can be a centralized backup server. That's another way a lot of people do that.
Okay. All right.
So there's a number of ways to skin this cat. The key to remember is multiple copies of everything.
Right. And how many backup copies did you say?
Well, I like to have an original plus 2 backups.
Okay.
One of them in the cloud. Or off. Actually, I shouldn't say in the cloud. Off-site. That could be you take a drive to work. You could have duplicate Seagates, for instance, and every week backing up all week long, and every week swap it with the one at work. Now you've got 2 copies, one off-site.
What made me nervous and what made me want to go to a RAID or something like the Drobo was that I had a Western Digital the book. I forgot what it's
called. The MyBook. Yeah, I was just.
The MyBook. And that died on me.
Yeah, drives die. That's why you don't have everything on one drive. That's why you have multiple copies.
Right.
There's no way to prevent drives dying, as you correctly presumed that G-Tech is twice as likely to die because they're putting 2 drives in and pretending they're one drive. If either one fails, the whole thing is gone. So it's twice as likely to fail. However, if that's not the only copy, that's not the end of the world. I have a number of kind of solutions for this. Of course, I have off-site backup. I have, I think it's in my drawer right here. I have just not a super fast terabyte external drive, and periodically I'll bring it home, copy all my photos to it, and bring it to work. It's a very manual way of doing it, but that way I have off-site. The thing I most don't want to lose is my gigantic collection of photos. It's tens of thousands of images over the last. I started taking digital pictures 10 years ago, so that's 10 years of my life. Don't want to lose that, so I manually just carry it back and forth. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I also use network-attached storage, centralized network-attached storage. I also use external drives next to the computer. I have a lot of copies of everything. I don't want to take a chance. And, of course, carbonite. Sam is on the line from Victorville, California. Hi, Sam. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Got a couple questions for you.
All right.
Started off with one, but it turned into 2 while I was waiting. Anyway.
That's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah. What it is at my business, I can get DSL from Verizon.
Okay.
But I'm so far away from the pop, they can only give me 1.5
right.
down and 384 up.
Right.
So, and they're charging like $80 a month. So what I did is I ordered DSL Extreme Business, which is half the price. And they're going to come in and put it in on a dry loop, but it's still the same speed.
Right.
Could I put a second DSL line in and multiplex them somehow to give me more speed?
You can. There's a product. In fact, I think DSL Extreme offers it. I don't know if they offer it in your area, but there's a product called Fusion that does exactly that. It's dual ADSL2 lines. The problem is you are so far away from the network center, the phone company's building.
Right.
DSL does degrades rapidly over distance. So that's the problem. Sometimes what will happen, and I've had this happen with DSL Extreme, the phone company will say, well, we're only going to give you 1.5 down, 384 up. And then DSL Extreme said, well, let me just take the limiter off, because they're doing that mechanically. Yeah, we think actually you can get better. We're going to give you more speed. And it worked. But what the phone company's a little more conservative, and they're going to say, well, we know we can give you 1.5. Maybe we could do more, but why? Well, we're not going to say that. And we're not going to offer it. Okay. So bonded ADSL will work. You ask DSL Extreme if they have Fusion in your neighborhood.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's a good solution. I've used Fusion, and you also can get a phone line with that. So it's not VoIP. It's actually because they're connecting to the phone company's operations center. It's actually a landline. The Fusion product is quite good. There are other ways to do this as well, but yeah, distance is an issue. Come to think of it, I wonder. I think you may still be limited just purely because of the distance. Well, they will know. Marie, Southgate, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, Marie.
Hey, my computer conked out. It's very old, like me. And I want to know what to get another one. My kids want me to get another one.
Yeah, but I bet what you do is email, right?
Yeah.
And do you do surfing? You do web surfing or anything like that?
What?
What else do you do with it?
Just about email and, get pictures of the grandkids, great-grandkids. But that's about all. I don't pay bills or do anything complicated on it.
I would. And do you need a desktop? Do you need a big screen?
I have a big screen, but my kids want to get me a laptop.
I'm going to get back to this Chromebook again. It's inexpensive. It's very simple. And for you, the key point is it's very secure. You don't have to worry about getting hacked or viruses or any of that. And they're cheap. Chromebooks. Search them on Amazon or somewhere like that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Or iPad. An iPad would be a good choice, too, Marie. If you're not typing a lot, the iPad is less
we do everything
good
in the cloud
for
in
typing.
my business. That's why we didn't want
because you're typing on a glass screen. So the reason I like the Chromebook for people who do a lot of email is you have a real keyboard, you have a real trackpad. Screen's not super big, so if your eyesight's not great, the smaller screen might be a little annoying. If you're mining Dogecoin, yeah, probably not the best choice. Can you attach a Chromebook? Yes, they have. Some of them have HDMI out, so you could, in fact, drive a larger screen. Some have VGA too. The Beatles. The long and winding road. A WISP, wide area internet service provider, wireless internet service provider. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I saw some HDMI. Well, I tell you, I tried Winman. I tried the free ones, like the classic shell. But I really like the Start 8 from Stardock. It is only $5. I know, Burfunkel. They think, what do you think, I'm an idiot? Yeah, I'm not. I am. I would love a 4K 30-inch display for my Mac Pro, but I don't want to spend $3,000 on it. It's too much money. Geisha coin. Yeah. Bitcoin, call it. I just can't stand out there and complain. Yeah. Well, see, when you spend that much money on TV, then it gets harder and harder to. There are limits. I don't have an infinite supply of cash. Chromebook, but Chromebook is Linux. Ironically, it's a very sneaky way to get Linux on the desktop. Wisprem, 8 megabits for $56. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, I thought of a project for you, Padre. Maybe you can get Brian to do it. What was it? Well, first of all, I had mentioned, but I don't know. I think I mentioned to Iaz the idea of doing a real random number generator circuit. So you'd have real random numbers. And then there was another one. Another thing I wanted you to build. What the hell was it? Oh, I've forgotten now. Dash cam. That's it. Thank you, Jeff Needles. He's a young whippersnapper. He's got a brain still. That's it, a gold-making machine. I need a gold-making machine. Get ready for the Grammys, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, last segment of the week. Let's see here. Who should I talk to? Pam, North Hollywood. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Pam. Oh, I got to push the button. Sorry, Pam. Hi, Pam.
Hello.
I'm getting a little punchy towards the end of the show, you know.
So I've been hearing.
Yes.
You're very sing-songy today.
Yes. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat, by the way, mentioned that you should look into a wireless internet service provider for our friend in Victorville. Okay. Go right ahead.
Yeah, the longer you have me on hold, the more questions I think.
That's good. That's good. It's you've got your question catcher on.
Okay, I want to get a plasma TV.
You need a Chromebook. Oh no, that's wrong. That's
no. I but you know what? They have them at the I think Home or Office Depot.
Yeah.
A Samsung they have for $249.
$249. It's nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need a plasma TV. This is the time to get them because all the companies are getting out of that business.
I know, that's the thing. They're on, like, a lot of them are on sale right now, but I don't want a smart TV. And
well, good luck getting a dumb one.
What? Well, and I want to get the new Roku, but
yeah, you could pretend it's a dumb TV. But I don't know if you can buy a TV that doesn't have any internet connection these days. They all do. It's just part of the deal.
Well, no, they have like some plasmas are like a couple like 4 digits.
I understand, but the one I understand. but this is the problem. Is I don't want 3D, right? But all of the good TVs have 3D built in. And that's the problem. If you want a good screen, you're going to get a smart TV because they don't put that. Yes, they make $400 plasmas, but they aren't very good.
Well, Samsung?
I can't imagine. So what's what Samsung? It's a Samsung, and it mustn't be very big.
It's a 43-inch.
Yeah, that's why. Okay.
But they also have a Samsung that's a 60-inch. That's $849.
Well, that's a good price.
And it's a 1080p 600 hertz. Like you said, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I don't worry about 120 or 240 on plasma.
Right, and it's not a 3D. I don't care about that.
I don't either. And they've stripped out everything.
Yeah.
The issue, and that's how they get the price down. The issue is it a good screen? My suspicion is, it's not going to be as good. The 43 inch is a 720p screen. That you do not want.
Right.
Do not want. So you want the 1080p.
I know LG has a couple too, since they're phasing out the plasmas, but that's why I want to get one before they,
So you're not saying that you don't want a smart TV. You're saying I want a cheap TV.
No. I don't want I have cable.
Yeah.
And
you can ignore the smarts, just as I ignore the 3D.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay the extra money for
Well, but you're not just paying. This is the point. You're not just paying the extra money for the smart. You're paying the extra money for a better TV in addition.
Yeah, but if I'm getting something that's still like,
I understand. That's just the way it works. They don't unbundle all this stuff. It's not like you could say, well, take out the smart chunk. Now how much do I save?
Well, if they're just trying to get rid of the stuff that they had like from December.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know these. Samsung makes a very good plasma. If you have gone and you've looked at it and you say it looks great, then I'd say go ahead.
And the LG and I know Vizio.
LG's good. Vizio's good. My preference is, of course, the Panasonic Vieras. Those are widely agreed to be, here's the problem. I mean, there's people who review these things, like our own Scott Wilkinson, who look very carefully at things like black levels and how, and maybe you don't really care about all of that.
I don't.
So ultimately, you should look at the TV. If it looks good, you should take it home.
I like the plasmas. I
love plasmas. I think they're more accurate. But I have to say, at the price point you're at, it may not be that much difference between a plasma and an LCD.
Yeah, well, it's just, I have a plasma and I like it a lot.
Oh, I do too. The black levels are better. It's does better with action. I like it a lot. I think go ahead, get that Samsung, get the 10. Do get 1080p. That does make a difference. Yeah, if you can get one without smarts, you'll save a little money, I guess. Yeah, but I'm just
like the gigahertz and all that. I think that's for like gamers, right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean on plasma. It's meaningless.
Yeah, that's I figured.
Yeah, I don't understand even why Samsung mentions the 600 hertz class. What does that even mean?
I think it's for the people that have the Xboxes.
I don't know what it is.
That's all I can think of.
It's marketing. What it is? It's marketing material. It's that you're going to turn it off anyway. The 600 hertz subfield motion.
Yeah.
Turn that off because it's first of all not needed on plasma, and second, it makes the picture look terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, I would ignore that. In fact, it's nice that they include that in their cheap TV.
Okay, now the thing is, now they come out with the new Roku, the Roku 3.
Yes.
That's got
love it.
Also all the little
headphone,
Netflix
and it's got
that.
headphones in the remote, which is very convenient.
Right. So I'm thinking about getting that.
Love it.
So get that in the plasma instead of just spending $2,400 on a.
I completely agree with you. The smart TV functions they put in these TVs are A, not as good, and B, not updated as often as Roku or Apple TV or any of these other third-party devices. So I don't want it built into the TV. I just, on a higher-end TV, you can't get rid of it. But I don't use it. I generally use the Roku. I use the Apple TV, or I might use my Google Chromecast. Those things are better.
Right. Well, I know Roku's coming out, I think, at the end of the year with their own TV that's going to have it.
Yeah, but if it's see, I don't like that because I don't want it built into the TV because I want to upgrade it without upgrading the TV.
Yeah, because I have a Roku 1, so I want to get a Roku 3.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? Makes sense. Just a little box. It's $99. It's smarter than the smartest smart TVs. It's the way to go.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. I might have time to squeeze in one more. Roger, San Pedro, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, I've got a situation here with a brand new Dell 15R.
Okay.
Trying to run Words for Friends or Words with Friends, and the mouse will not drag the letter up to the area where you want to put it. And you can touch it. It's got a touch enable screen. You can touch it. It'll appear to drag the letter up there, but as soon as you let go of it, it quits. The same browser runs the Words for Friends on XP. We've got one of those machines. On Vista, we got one of those. And Ubuntu, we got one of those.
And it works everywhere but Windows 8.
We're 8.1.
Gee, I don't know. I love Words with Friends. It's that great Scrabble clone.
That's it.
And
I'm just thinking there must be something extremely stupid I've done or something really simple to fix it.
I don't know. It sounds like it's broken.
And
I have to say that the Zynga, the company that does Words with Friends, often does a bad job of updating. Was it on the Windows App Store? Did you get it there or did you download it?
It was on Facebook.
Ah, it's the Facebook version.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the deal. Do it from the desktop version of Internet Explorer because there's no Flash on the Metro browser. Try the desktop version of Internet Explorer. I bet that'll fix it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.